All right, good evening, everybody. Um, so we have a lot of things to go over with season 2022 to 2023 with Buffalo Bills game for football season, including some other season that I wanted to share. Let me take this time that we wanted to give you updates on priorities with Buffalo Bills game, also with the Bills game heading to finals game and everything. So that's what I wanted to share to you today is about some other game legends and everything as it exists. So here are the announcements that I wanted to share out. So for football overview and also with the month of November they have to move to Detroit, Michigan because they're getting a snowstorm in Buffalo, New York. And that's one thing that I wanted to share out. Including how many inches of snowfall. I'll explain more about that. Because this is some things I wanted to share out with Buffalo Bills and also with other NFL teams. Alright, so we talked about football season. So this year in 2022, Buffalo Bills football team has done an outstanding job this year throughout the preseason, including a full season for 2022 and parts of 2023. And then they just had their game. The last game will be sometimes in January, and then they have a state finals game. So between heading to finals for January 2023 to finish the season, they have become the state champions in Buffalo, New York. And that is something I wanted to share out is the Buffalo Bills game and everything, of course. Including running against with the other teams to win football games throughout the season. We talked about football teams like Chicago Bears, Detroit Lions, and also with Philadelphia's. And so far with Buffalo Bills game, they have done an outstanding season, and they're like the number one best football team than like any other than like Chicago Bears and everything, as you know. So this is something I wanted to share out with Buffalo Bills game is that they have done an outstanding season and all of that. So that's what I want to tell you today. It's just basically with football season and all other things going on here. So yeah. So as you can see, these images about Buffalo Bills is that they were always prepared on time. They always show some good spirit with good attitude. Also keeping in touch with people. Because these are teams. These are the teams right here that are always prepared to get things on time. As we prepare to wrap up for Buffalo Bills football game season by 2023, they'll have it again next fall. Well, of course, you can watch it with ESPN, with Educational Sports Power Network, just like with internet, and also with state champions football games and everything like that. Because this is something I wanted to share out is Buffalo Bills is that they have like done an outstanding season throughout the entire journey and everything that they've been doing throughout this season's territorialism. Because that's something else I want to share to you is everything that we've done. Because this is something I wanted to share out is about Buffalo Bills game with NFL teams and everything. So this is something I wanted to share out here today as well. So between the outstanding positions about the Buffalo Bills is that they have run accelerations with 98 meters per second, and also with running. Velocity is also 98 meters per run, and then gains about 80% of energy. Like how they gain energy is that they drink water and they drink plenty of fluids, so that way they can stay active through running, and also with also keeping them in good shape. Because keeping in good shape can mean showing good spirits and everything we know. So this is something else I want to share with you is that they have done like an outstanding positions, and also with holding the footballs, and also making defense and making the best state champions. Just like when talking about football for high school and college, and joining NFL teams, they could be a great spirit of all times. Like for example, like the head football coach, and yeah, because the head football coaches always make a good spirit out of this, and yeah, that's all I want to tell you today. So talking about Snowstorm during the football season, like during the football season, Buffalo Bills football team had to move to another football stadium in Michigan. Like I said before, they have to move to Detroit, Michigan to find another football stadium due to the big snowstorm in Buffalo, New York. A lot of people can't get out of their homes, and they don't have food, they don't have shelter, they don't have water. That's something that people can't survive with. They were expecting to get the first snowstorm in Buffalo, New York, with Erie County. So, like for Erie County, for example, like Orchard Park, Lackawanna, Towanda, and also with West Seneca, Hamburg, New York. Those are like portions of Buffalo, New York area counties, and also with the portion north is Niagara Falls of Grand Island. When they just finished building the Niagara Falls amusement park, replacing it with Martin's Fantasy Island, is that when they had their first snowfall with the Grand Island, New York, and also with the Grand Island Bridge. So through Grand Island Bridge, when we went there since summer 2019, they had new cashless tolling systems because they always have to remember to bring their Easy Pass with them when going to Interstate 192 Niagara Falls. Because this is something that Niagara Falls had to go with big snowstorm, and also with waterfalls. Is that it is like up north Canada, where Canada brings snowstorm portions of winds, which I'll explain more about. And yeah, that's all I want to tell you about that. On behalf of Buffalo, New York's Impact Snowfall for November 17th through November 20th. So here you see this image right here is that they have gotten like 18 to 24 inches of snowfall in Niagara Falls. Lockport 18 to 24, and then here about Buffalo is about 3 to 4 feet, so that's about 48 inches. Evans 2 to 3, and then Collins 12 to 18 snowfall, and then Hanover 12 to 18, Holland 12 to 18, Akron 8 to 12, Corey 2 to 3 feet, and then Batavia, New York 12 to 18. So this is not the accumulation snowfall between how many inches of snowfall they get. So when I calculate these, Buffalo, New York got like 53 inches of snow. West Seneca, 74 inches. Orchard Park, 77 inches. Hamburg, 71.4 inches. Chickawatt, 68.5. And then Lackawanna, 51.2 inches. So these are the accumulations between snowfall inches through November 17th through November 20th, Thanksgiving week. Is that when we see snowfall throughout the entire state of New York, or some parts of New York and Buffalo, like Erie counties, and then everything. So these are snowfall inches that I wanted to roll out here. Is that snowfall is one of the biggest priorities concerned about for people, like when they have to go to the grocery store to get food and drink and to survive by the big snowstorm. So people can be scared of the big snowfall, and also with single digit forecast, and people have no idea where the snowfall came from, which I'll explain more about that later. And a lot of people do not know where the snow come from. The snow came all the way up north, is from Ontario, Canada state. and it's just right next to Niagara Falls in the city of Toronto, Ontario, and that's part of the city of Canada. So we talk about where the snowstorm came from. Snowstorm that came from the city of Ontario, Canada, and then it entered the United States with gusty wind, push about 50 to 55 miles per hour winds. So as you can see right here, is that they have to bring snowstorm. Is that the snowstorm brings from Canada and it enters the United States. So that's how snowstorm has begun. It's coming from Canada and then it enters the United States. That's when they got the biggest snowstorm in Buffalo, New York, and then parts of New York counties. Like they didn't bring the snowstorm to let me think how do I want to put this West Nyack and then Tarrytown, New York. Those are the states that are like good states that they didn't bring snowstorm with and everything like that. Because this is something I want to share out with you guys about where the snow comes from. It has come from all the way up north, like Antarctica or so, like Arctic winds and Arctic snowfall, and a lot of people are scared of a big snowstorm, and we have no idea how many people did not survive throughout this big snowstorm for 2022 to 2023 winter season. So, so yeah, I just wanted to tell you about something. And as you can see, the images in Buffalo, New York, and this second one you can see is the Buffalo Bills football stadium. It got like a heavy blanket snowfall covered with nearly 100 inches of snowfall. And then this right here, this person had a hard time snow plowing the snow in Buffalo, New York, and also like for example like Hamburg and Orchard Park, New York. A lot of people are having a hard time snow plowing the snows, including like the Buffalo Bills football stadium, because it's a good idea the Buffalo Bills team have moved to Detroit, Michigan, to find another football stadium to finish the season. And that's another thing I wanted to share out with Buffalo Bills and everything. Buffalo Bills game, they had moved to Detroit, Michigan, and that's when they had to move to Detroit, Michigan to finish the season and also with other teams. Because they were scared of the big snowstorm when it's coming down. It's like nearly 100 inches of snowfall. And yeah. And here we see a lot of things going on with New York Thruways. So as you can see right here, between the first image you see, this is when people got into a car accident of a big snowstorm, like Interstate 90 East and then Interstate 90 West. So this is part between Interstate 50 to 54. Exit 54 to 57. So this is something I wanted to share out with Buffalo, New York, and also Erie County. So because a lot of people are like stuck in traffic due to the big snowstorm and covered with a lot of inches of snowfall. People can't drive on highways, and that's when the travel ban took effect Thursday night through Sunday. And the mayor in Buffalo, New York, had announced about reopening the highways. Also, people can go on highways again through New York Thruways, and yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And the third image you can see about the people getting the snow out of the highways is that snow plowing and yeah, because they're snow plowing the highways to make sure the highways are safe for people to drive on highways again without big snowstorms and causing car accidents. 35% of people got into car accidents in a big snowstorm, and that is when they can't get out of their homes. They can't go on driving on highways, and yeah, because that's something else that I wanted to share out to you today. Like I said before, the travel ban took effect on Thursday night, November 17th, or Sunday, November 20th, and then by Christmas weekend, Buffalo, New York got hit hard with a snowstorm blizzard. Total inches was like nearly 100 inches. A lot of people can't get out of their homes because there's the snow inches accumulations like nearly 100 inches of snowfall in Buffalo, New York, and including in parts like Hamburg, Orchard Park, West Seneca, Chicawata, Aurora, and Evans. Those are like parts of New York that was found with the big snowstorm, including like how do I put this? How do I put this? Big snowstorm, Buffalo, New York, and several inches of snowfall. People can't survive from the big snowstorm, and that is when travel bans took effect, and people have to stay in their homes until it's safe to go out again when the snowstorm is gone. And this is the image you can see here. Is that it's like a mountain of snowfall. A lot of people shoveling the snow, and yeah, because that's something else that people have to do is shoveling the snow to get out of their homes and to drive on the roads again safely. Because, like I said before about the car accident, 45% of people got into a car accident, and that's when they have some sort of like a collision going on, and yeah, I would say no for sure. Oh, okay. Okay, thank you for correcting me on that. 37 degrees was that is when it didn't snow last weekend like Christmas weekend. It got like to a big blizzard, so yeah. So this is like the normal season snow that I'm showing is that 95.4 inches of snowfall that head into Buffalo, New York, and that is when the season to date of December 25th, which was after Christmas last year in 2022, it got like 92.7. Because when talk about snowstorm Buffalo, New York, is that people can't get out of their homes, drive on highways since like November Thanksgiving weekend. That is when people have to stay in their houses and can't get on the roads, and let me tell you though, they have to shop at Wegmans grocery store and also Walmart and Target because it's like a madhouse, just like what we had a madhouse at our grocery store. It was just like insane, to be honest with you. And this is the image you've seen here about snow plows and snow mountains, because that is when with snow snow trucks were trying to get out of the snow and trying to shovel up the snow for people that can drive on highways again for New York Thruways, and also with Interstate 290 and 190 downtown Buffalo, Niagara Falls, and also the Parkway Robert Moses. Portions of Buffalo, New York also consist with driving on highways, driving on snows, and making sure people drive safe on the highways during this time of winter season, and yeah, because there's the expressway that I mentioned before about the Buffalo Airport Expressway. It is like off coast exit 51 area of New York Thruway, so just like when we had Buffalo International Airport coming from Buffalo, New York through Ontario, Canada. Because that's something else I wanted to tell you about is it's about people can't go on take flights with airports because of Dallas airports flights been delayed due to the big snowstorm, and people can't fly somewhere south or somewhere they go to for Thanksgiving vacation and Christmas vacation, and that is when flights been delayed because of this. When talking about people survived from snowstorm blizzard, about 20 to 45 people died from the snowstorm over Christmas weekend after an unbelievable 77 inches of snowfall before Thanksgiving. And that's, like I said before, they can't get out of their homes and get food. They have to make a big order grocery shopping for the big snowstorm, just like some portions of states, United States, are before the big snowstorm that happened, like a blizzard snowstorm. Like back in 2016, they had like 40 inches of snowfall in New Jersey and Washington D.C. because it took about 2 weeks to melt the snow until people can go out again, and yeah. Now, talking about the announcement for Buffalo Bills is that overall for the Buffalo Bills game, they were like outstanding this year and achieved great personalities and goals they have, and And like I said before, they had to move to Detroit, Michigan with another football stadium. That's when they can't be on a football stadium in the Buffalo Bills football stadium due to the snowstorm. And it was nearly 100 inches of snowfall since Thanksgiving weekend and also with Christmas weekend. But now, as we prepare to wrap up the season for football season, hopefully they'll have a better chance to stay in the Buffalo Bills football stadium without a big snowstorm or anything. And this is on their behalf with the team and also with Pro Bowl. They have now entered a Pro Bowl, alternates for state champions in New York, and yeah, because like I said before about Buffalo Bills is that they did an outstanding job and shown some great personalities of running with the football stadium, holding with the football and running acceleration like it all begins on the 50-yard line when Buffalo Bills player had to kick the football and just make it to across the area. That's when they had to play with against the other teams or so. Because NFL teams have done an outstanding job this year because of this. It shows great pros necessarily and professional team they are. Professional team like the best team of all times, and yeah. And they had to avoid getting stuck in a snowstorm in Buffalo, New York, and that was very smart to just avoid getting stuck, and then they just had to move to Michigan to finish off the season. And yeah, very smart of Buffalo Bills have to move to Michigan temporarily due to the big snowstorm that's coming in Buffalo, New York, and that is when they can continue playing football season and find a football stadium in Detroit, Michigan, which was pretty nice of them. All right. Well, is there any questions I can take? Just let me know in the comment sections about overall presentation for Buffalo Bills game. We'll have more details about some other travel events and yeah. All right. So I have some videos that I wanted to share to you about Buffalo, New York snowstorms. So this is a month ago when they have unbelievable 77 inches of snowfall. And yeah.
Snowfall in western New York being measured in feet, not inches. Sunday's Buffalo Bills game moved to Detroit. Residents being urged to be careful as they dig out, and dump trucks are busy hauling away the snow as more is forecast to fall in the area. Here's ABC's Phil Lipoff.
The first major lake-effect snowstorm of the season has dropped more than 6 feet of snow on parts of western New York, and it's not over yet.
We are hauling snow because so much snow has fallen. There's really no place to put it now. Unfortunately, it looks like more snow is coming.
The snow proving too much for the plows. First responders getting stuck as well.
We're stuck in the snow at Ideal and Ryman en route to the call. You need to be towed? This is Roger, Chief.
A travel ban put into effect Thursday night, then briefly lifted before being reinstated Friday afternoon. ABC's Matt Rivers in Buffalo.
Well, there was some major snowfall overnight here in downtown Buffalo. You can see it all on the ground behind me. This after days of unrelenting snow for this region, and yet this storm, still not over yet.
Residents starting to dig out.
I didn't think we were going to get this much snow. It's definitely a little heavier than I was expecting it to be.
Officials warning everyone to be careful as they shovel this wet, heavy snow, confirming at least 2 deaths due to exertion.
You don't need to shovel, especially now. Wait. Try to, if you know you have a cardiac issue, if you have a heart issue, high blood pressure, don't go out there.
Snow also piling up in Michigan. Some areas seeing as much as 2 feet. In Kalamazoo County, slick roads, whiteout conditions leading to this pileup. At least 20 cars involved, including a Michigan State Police SUV.
All right. And then this is the other video that brings us with CBS New York. With
situation is deadly serious in hard-hit Buffalo, New York, where rescue efforts continue after the city was buried in snow.
At least 17 people now are known to have died there, and across the country, the storm has claimed the lives of at least 34. CBS 2's John Diaz has been looking into this aftermath, and he joins us live from the newsroom with the latest on this, John.
Yeah, Dave and Natalie, good morning to both of you. Just such sad numbers to report this morning. Governor Kathy Hochul said that she's been in touch with the White House to initiate a disaster declaration. She deployed the National Guard to the Buffalo area to help with what she's calling a life-threatening storm.
We are in a war. This is a war with Mother Nature.
Governor Kathy Hochul saying this weekend's snowstorm will go down in Buffalo's history as the most devastating storm and nothing short of a battle. So far, the 17 people who died range in ages from 26 to 93 years old. Emergency crews expect to continue to find more bodies of those who didn't survive.
There is substantial, significant, and devastating loss of life.
Even some of the snowplows were in need of a rescue. And about 30 miles away from Buffalo, about 200 people spent Christmas Eve stranded at a Denny's.
There were families sleeping on tables, sleeping on, 3 dining chairs, heads down on a table.
A major holiday headache for this Bronx woman who was confined to a family member's home, unable to get back to New York City.
We've been stuck in the house all these days.
Hundreds of thousands of Americans experienced power outages at some point over the weekend, from Maine to Washington State. Travel nightmares also continued throughout the weekend at airports across the nation. More than 9,000 flights were canceled or delayed on Christmas Day, according to FlightAware.
I got a text saying that I was rebooked. When I tried to change it, it said that I needed to call the maintenance line or whatever, and they actually didn't answer.
And back here in New York, the governor also said that many emergency vehicles got stuck in the snow. We were told that later on this morning, Nassau County will be sending a fleet to help out with efforts up in the north, and Con Ed already sent 25 crews yesterday. Dave?
Thanks, John.
And then this is when people have lost everything. That's from Fox Weather YouTube channel.
What a bright spot in that forecast. Well, a long way to go as Buffalo is clearing out truckloads full of snow, and residents are beginning to dig out from the historic snowstorm in western New York. Fox Weather's Robert Ray has the latest on the massive efforts, and it's been great to see the community coming together. A lot of roads have reopened, stores, but how are things going into this holiday weekend?
Yeah, good morning. It's approaching 50 degrees here in Buffalo, which is really the talk of the town here this morning. That's all anyone can say. They say it feels like summer, and indeed it does, actually. When you go through blizzard conditions and sub-zero Arctic air, and you have piles of snow and it's 50 degrees, that's welcome. But there's still a lot of work going on here. There are front loaders out here this morning. There are people that are still shoveling. And look at this fire hydrants. That's the issue that's a concern right now. And the city is asking residents to, if they have fire hydrants, try to get the snow off of them in case of emergency. But still very active here, moving into the weekend. But you see the main arteries are all clear. Front loaders continue to push small mountains of snow through Buffalo nearly a week after a blizzard crippled the western New York area, dropping more than 4 feet of snow in some places and claiming the lives of dozens.
Trying to get this stuff out of here. Getting all the snow. There's mountains and mountains of snow, and they're going to be here for a while. It's not going to be like overnight. It'll probably be about a week before we see any of this stuff gone.
After 6 days, Erie County and officials in the city lifted the travel ban in Buffalo early Thursday morning, thanks to crews who were able to clear enough roads throughout the city. But some residents don't think the government moved fast enough.
I think the city's not doing a good enough job. I mean, we got essential workers that live on the street, and they can't even get down the street. I mean, my daughter works at Mercy. The only reason why she's getting to work is because I'm actually picking her up with a 4-wheel drive to come down and take her to work.
Buffalo residents are still asked to only venture out for essential needs, as hundreds of high-lift vehicles and dump trucks continue to clear streets of snow. Yet some neighborhoods are still working to make their own paths.
She's absolutely pathetic. Terrible. 4 days of shoveling out. And thank God these people came to help us because my husband's 70 years old. He can't do this himself.
After being stuck inside for days, people are in need of supplies and trying to get back to any notion of normalcy. Families and neighbors are working together and reflecting on the dangerous and deadly Christmas blizzard of 2022.
But I'm very grateful to be alive right now. So I would say the next time somebody says it's going to be bad, don't go outside. There were like 4 other cars stranded next to me. And people have lost everything, you know, their families. So I'm glad to be here.
Including their family and loved ones as well.
And back here live in Buffalo, you know, she makes a good point. Clearly, she's had some time to have perspective on her situation of being stranded and now being alive. And, you know, yes, you do hear those frustrations from residents. I can sympathize with them. I mean, I would be too. But the reality of those frustrations are the fact that this is an unprecedented combination of events that occurred here, and it's still very slippery. When you have blizzard conditions, you know, over 30 hours straight, you have 4 feet of snow, you have Arctic temperatures. I mean, we're not talking about blizzard conditions with temperatures in the teens or even the single digits. We're talking about, you know, negative numbers. That just creates this recipe for what we have seen over the past week. So I know that there are people that want to have an assessment of how Buffalo handled this, and they will. They'll get it. But I guess the good news at this point is that these streets in full pretty much are clear at this point. They are still working on some of the side roads, and, you know, of course, you do see the residuals of the aftermath of something like this, where, you know, there are tires on the sides of roads that were towed, vehicles that were stranded, but sunnier days ahead, really, for the city of Buffalo and Western New York, guys.
I think also, too, you reported also with a barber, and we spoke with him yesterday on Fox Weather, and how he housed 40 to nearly 50 people throughout the storm over the Christmas holiday. I mean, just great to hear those stories of people coming together in the face of what was such a tragic weekend. And it is great to see the pavement underneath you there finally clearing off that snow. Robert Ray will continue checking with you in Buffalo, New York.
I'm Amy Freeze. Welcome to Fox Weather.
It is just like a dramatic videos that I've seen, but there's like more videos that is just terrifying, and yeah. Let's see if there's anything I wanted to share to you. Nearly about 50 inches, or this one from today. This is when we get updates with people didn't survive.
Amid frantic rescues and mounting loss, this morning Buffalo still not out of the woods. Western New York could see even more snow by tonight after more than 4 feet brought Buffalo to a frigid halt.
Nothing can compare to this storm.
The Tisdale family says they almost didn't survive after they're one of the state's hardest. The severe winter weather blamed for nearly 60 deaths nationwide. One of the state's hardest hit, New York. President Biden declaring a state of emergency after officials reported more than 2 dozen weather-related deaths.
It is painful to find members of your community that are deceased.
Streets turned to parking lots. Authorities also facing reported looting.
I don't know how these people can even live with themselves, how they can look at themselves
like serious damages
in the mirror. They are the lowest of what we've seen in a lot.
This is first responders continue to help Buffalo residents. With New York State police troopers assisting road clearing crews, checking for stranded motorists, and assisting in search and rescue efforts.
It's up in flames now.
While firefighters struggled to control a multiple home fire in the deep snow yesterday. And the Buffalo airport will remain closed until Wednesday morning as the area braces for a touch of more snow today. That viral Christmas party with stranded South Korean tourists giving Yosef Choi and his wife a honeymoon he'll never forget.
I got a new family member in Buffalo too, so, you know, I can't describe in words, you know. It's like, you know, I met angels.
Such an incredible, inspiring story, a sign of hope in what has been a very tough time here in Buffalo. We do have some cars out on the roadways right now, guys, but for the city of Buffalo, there is still a travel ban in place this morning. We are looking at some warmer temperatures, even if just slightly, in the days ahead, so hopefully that will bring some relief as well. Peter?
Those piles of snow next to you, hard to imagine. All that came over the course of the last week. Jesse Kirsch, thank you so much.
Hey, thanks for watching. Don't.
All right. It just keeps going on and on with Buffalo, New York, and this is one from ABC7 Chicago's.
Latest on the extreme cold that's affecting much of the country this Christmas. 18 people have died and more than 200,000 are without power. The deadly winter storm hitting Buffalo and western New York really hard. More than 2 feet of snow has fallen there, and the airport's been shut down until tomorrow. Rescue crews are trying to get air traffic controllers who are stuck in the tower. A driving ban also remains in effect there, where emergency crews had to make more than 50 rescues for drivers trapped in their cars. Officials reminding residents that if they get stuck, it may be hard to reach them.
It's not something that we're proud of, but in the worst affected areas available.
Massive storm also taking a toll on air travel. Friday hit the record for the highest number of cancellations this year, with more than 20% of all flights canceled. And stay with Eyewitness News as we track the bitter cold temperatures. Be sure to download the ABC.
It is very, very concerning news that we seen, and also with leave 7 people who died from a snowstorm, and it's just unbelievable. All right, well, it's been a long night. It's been like almost a 40-minute live video, so thank you for all this time, and if you have anything you want to say, just let me know in the comment section, and all the links are going to be in the description. So yeah, all right, have a good night, everybody. Enjoy the new year.